magic of the Cybernet Space Cube, the computer-enhanced podcast of the future. Transformers Slag Podcast. What's up, everybody? How we all doing? Man, this Saturday night. This is the Transformers Slag Podcast on our live stream main event. I'm your host, Proto Man. I'm the tired, unshaven face that runs this place. I'm the voice you hear here Tuesday to Friday because I wasn't here Monday. I'm back from San Diego. It was probably the craziest gauntlet of days I've ever done for a convention. Tuesday to Tuesday, pretty much. A full 7 days of nonstop insanity. Saying you were going to go to bed so you could wake up early, and then talking until 2 a.m. in the morning about business with people down in the lobby. It was madness. And you will share tonight with that madness, as well as only a fraction of what I could bring to show today on the live stream of gifts and all kinds of craziness. Barely a percentage of what I got that weekend that was showered upon the gods of the robots. So how we all doing? Don't really have the con crud. You know what was amazing? Again, I did a lot of talking, but a lot of the business talking, like, here's the thing, like, I find I lose my voice because I'm always in an environment that's so loud that you have to almost like talk over people, you know, being in a convention space or being in a loud bar. But I always found myself when I was doing a lot of my business talk, it was 7 a.m. in the morning, chilling on the floor of the Hasbro booth area, like on the carpet with Mark and just talking at a normal ocular. Going to a nice, quiet, more swanky bar or restaurant and just talking business there instead at a nice, normal octave instead of, hey, man, we should totally do this. You know, so, but feeling good otherwise. Still recovering. Living room is still covered with SDCC stuff. We barely scratched the surface of everything. I mean, I've been super busy because I'll get into it next week. We got another big convention. So it's just been one thing after another. And it's hopefully the gauntlet will be done soon because between San Diego Otakuthon, which is the second largest anime convention in North America, and then TFCon Chicago, possibly another trip to Japan. I mean, it's going to be a crazy next, like, let's say 30 days to like 40 days. So either way, got a lot of cool stuff to show you guys. Got a lot of news to talk about. I'm happy to answer questions and super chats and stuff because I barely was able to scratch the surface of the news this week. I mean, there was private interviews. There was interviews that Alex did, who's a TFW founder, that I want to go over with the IDW guy, and not IDW, with the former Dreamwave guys. There was so much people that were there, you know, like, oh God, Todd McFarlane, you know, Pat the NES Punk, who I just only recently knew existed, and now we become close friends and stuff through a bonding of plastic toys and robots. I mean, I think I'm going to end up on his channel at some point talking about robots and everything because we had a lot of fun. Well, more about him later. You know, WWE wrestlers. It's just, I can't stress it enough. For me, San Diego Comic-Con is not about the Friday, Saturday, Sunday when all the humanity is in there. It's about the Wednesday and Thursday when business gets done just among the professionals and the networking that comes from that. And that's the most important part. And for people that are wondering, this is one of the new jackets. This is the, take a guess why, Mega Man X jacket. Probably going to see that at some point in the future. Of course, got to represent Proto Man right up front. But it's going to be a little nutty. But hopefully we'll have an enjoyable evening together. You can see I just look terrible. Every photo I took, I looked terrible. It was like go to bed at 1 a.m., wake up at 5 a.m., rinse and repeat, you know, transforming stuff for the glass display at BotCon. BotCon. I see I'm already screwing up the BotCon. Geez, something that hasn't been around since 2016 in a professional form. Transforming stuff for San Diego. Uh, Needless to say, I'm still kind of not all there. Still trying to get back myself. But how we all doing? Who's in the chat? I apologize for not acknowledging the chat. Patrick Brown, what's up? James, Ashton, Kabuto 79, welcome. Haven't seen your face before, mister. So welcome to you. Cringe McCringle, what's up, brother? Joshua, how you doing? Rudy Mack, nice to see you, brother. I think I got some of my patrons in there too. Big Bot, what's up? James, I believe I said. Will Murphy. Want to make sure I don't miss nobody. Horned Owl, one of my patrons and my YouTube member, a good old double dipper. T-Formers 2002, another one of the double dippers. What's up? We're going to be seeing you guys in a couple weeks also. It's been pretty Roman. How you doing? David Cabal, I missed you at San Diego. I wanted to see you, brother, but let's just say everything couldn't line up. It was pretty crazy. So let's get into the news. We'll cover the news. We'll cover some new reveal stuff. And then we'll talk about more San Diego, take some super chats from you guys, and just enjoy this crazy evening about the robots in disguise and then some. So where do we even begin? Goodness. Let's start, of course, with these listings. Let's just start with these listings. So JT Prime 17 dropped a whole bunch of Target exclusive listings, primarily 2026, 2027. Not all of these are Target exclusive listings, but most of them are for a capsule of a 86 movie anniversary, 40th anniversary segmentation. So it's going to be a very interesting, to say the least. Probably for Canadians who are listening, this will probably be in Toys R Us and probably GameStop. Won't be a Target exclusive there, but probably more spread around. Historically, that has been the case for Canadians, and Europeans, probably the same thing too. Babbage, if you will. So again, Maximal Multi-Pack. God knows what that is. Who knows what that is? That could be anything. Pick any of the Beast-related, Maximal-related molds we've gotten through Kingdom and think of some clever color schemes and then get back to me. Let's put it that way. I mean, I could think of a whole bunch, but, who knows? They could go crazy deep cut. They could go for obvious repaints, but we'll see with that one. Then, of course, we got that Hot Wheels Twin Mill 2. The image that I have here on the right here is the legitimate Twin Mill 2 from Hot Wheels back in the day. It was a repaint of the Twin Mill done in a hot, like, green color scheme released through both the 80s and 90s Hot Wheels line. So, I mean, it could potentially be that color scheme, or it could be something I'm missing because they repaint the hell out of those molds. So it could be anything of that capacity. Of course, we got the Deluxe Insecticon 3-pack, which is just absolutely fantastic news for anyone that missed out on any of those individual Insecticons that are going for stupid money now. I think some of them are going like 2x, 3x their original value. I think it's Shrapnel is the one that's going for nutty money. I think it's Shrapnel. But either way, so that's a great opportunity. Probably going to have a new deco. Maybe they're going to go with a gray colored bombshell that's more like screen accurate for his robot mode as opposed to, say, his alt mode for his bug mode. We'll see how they tackle it. I know Evan talked about it in the past where it's like, where do you go with those colors with some of them? Because there's big contradictions between one mode to the next. So that might be the alternative, if anything else. Then, of course, we have the Anniversary 86 Starscream Voyager. This one, like I know a lot of people are kind of miffed about it, that Starscream's going to be a Target exclusive. I honestly think they'll probably do a unique coloring for this one. Maybe even a damaged leg, my foot, Starscream. Maybe do something like that. Just like how a lot of the other Target exclusive have either been dead versions of 86 characters, upgraded color schemes, like let's say the Cup and the Cliff Jumper, or just something on the vanilla. So I can imagine them doing that, giving Target a little something special initially, and then afterwards we'll get a much more mainline. I mean, for Hasbro to take a mainline Starscream and put him behind the wall of an exclusive permanently is money on the table. So they'll obviously do something like, and same thing here, anniversary hot rod. That one's a little different because let's be real, the original 86 hot rod is much beloved. People got their fix. This really would just be a repaint, a redeco at best. The Starscream is going to be a whole new tooling from the Thundercracker that we just got revealed. The hot rod is just more, hey, you having problems getting hot rod the first and second time he's been released and he's still going for crazy money? Here's a third time now, you know? So something like that, could be, could be, could be. And then of course, Prowl, another classic example of like, hey, that Earthrise one, that 2-pack from Amazon that costed you a crazy amount of money, that crazy 2-pack that now half of it is pointless because of the 86 Ironhide. Well, now we're going to make that whole pack pointless and completely throttle that market because who's going to want to pay crazy money for that 2-pack when now, hopefully, at least through Target retail, we'll have this. And maybe it'll be a brand new sculpt. Maybe it'll be even more Datsun Z leaning and look really good. So we'll see how that goes about at the end of the day. Then we got the Studio Series Leader Class TF1 Optimus. This is a 2027 item celebrating the 20th anniversary of the first Michael Bay movie. Oh, I'm getting old. I'm getting old. So, judging by what they're probably going to do, they're probably going to keep that Voyager scale, but just include a whole bunch of extras. The original individual releases of the Voyager Optimus either came with the ion blasters or with the swords, never with both. So you'll probably get both. You'll probably get an Allspark, maybe a Matrix of Leadership. Who knows? Maybe a little Sam Witwicky, slug figure, like they've done with some of the others, like the Shockwave, where they would always include these little non-transformable slug figures that are painted. So maybe that. Who knows? But definitely enough to bolster it out to probably justify a leader class price point just in terms of, extra stuff. So I could see that. Take that brand new coloring that they did with the 15th anniversary 5-pack, if you know what I'm talking about. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people will be very happy to pick that one up, specifically Cringe McCringle in the chat today. But yeah, Cringe, how old were you when the 2007 movie came out? I'm just kind of curious. How old were you when that came out? Just so I could feel like an old balding man. But yeah. And then of course, we have the Transformers Generations, Age of the Primes Commander class, the second Commander class, that of the Armada Jetfire, which is absolutely fantastic. Finally we're going to get some pants for our Armada Optimus from Legacy. And I'm just kind of curious how they're going to go about it. I saw some really good suggestions of what they could do with the sculpting after the fact. We have the Galaxy Shuttle trademark as a thing now. That kind of had a very soft release through Speedia 500 and a limited release in a lot of ways. So it's something where, hey, man, if you retool this good enough, you could get a Galaxy Shuttle out of it. Brand new wings, brand new head sculpt. Even the weapon is kind of similar. You were 4 years old when the 2007 movie came out. Gosh, how old was I? I think I was in my late 20s. Yeah, I think I was in my late 20s at the time. Goodness. 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 But yeah, Armada Prime gets his new pants. And I mean, the way I look at it too, it's like, even if you didn't get the Armada Optimus Prime, we have that Nemesis Prime that just debuted at San Diego. And you could just pick up the Nemesis Prime and then you could have Black Repaint Optimus with a new pair of pants. So, Mark showed me that it has that mode. It has all the extras. It has cool tooling and everything. It looks great. And funny story, let me tell you, how did I even learn about that Nemesis Prime? It wasn't even because of the VIP breakfast. It was, I woke up in the morning and I had a text message from Aaron Archer going, you got to get me that Nemesis Prime at the show. And I was like, what is he talking about? Like, I was like confused and I was half asleep. And I was like, what? And then like leaked photos got out from the breakfast at like 6 a.m. in the morning of the setup and the Nemesis Prime was there. And I was like, oh, okay, that listing that we had. So, man, I was even confused. Again, lack of sleep that whole weekend. Chris McCringle with the YouTube member question and or comment. Sorry to make everyone feel old. Well, it's okay. I always feel old, but I'm young at heart, and that's all that matters. So that's it for the listings, more or less. But we had also some reveals. We had a brand new energy beast from Transformers Wild King that was revealed through Takara Official. WKB 10. We got here Sky Report. Finally, the Autobot good guy side gets their flyer unit. And very much, Arcadis slash Air Raptor vibe in terms of the sculpt. I mean, still, it's not a a dino in a lot of ways like Arcadis was, but it still gives that same head sculpt and that kind of vibe and everything. I mean, definitely if they do a repaint in that kind of color scheme, it'll definitely hit very well. And yeah, man, finally a leaf unit, a grass unit for the good guy side of things, and a flight mode for Optimus. And now we got a complete mode. Uh, Sky Report's tail becomes his shield, but the shield also becomes the chest piece for the 5 wild docking mode for Optimus. So very, very cool. Definitely when I'm going to be going to Japan again, I'm going to try to track this one down because these guys were like 900 yen at Don Quixote, which is a store over there. So if I could get 900 yen, which is like $7 uh, Energy Beasts, I mean, I'll do that any day of the week. Sign me up for that. But beautiful stuff, looking really good. Very excited about these. These designs are so great. And then, of course, what else do we got here? We also have a reminder that this Transformer Tuesday will be the next episode of Transformers Wild King. It'll be Megatron versus Captain Volca, and that'll be Transformer Tuesday, which will be August 5th. It says August 6th, because that's Japan time, but August 5th, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. August 6th, 10 a.m. Japan Standard Time. So if you're a Japanese listener, and we have a few of them according to the analytics. So, and also I didn't do a slide for this because I was just so backed up for time. But also Transformers Cyberworld's newest episode came out just recently, and with Alita, pretty good. I dig it. Not really feeling too much Russian Grimlock. It's like a Russian version of Grimlock, and Skybite isn't as poetic as I was expecting. He's kind of just more a snake character, for lack of better words. You have certain tropes of voice acting styles. I do like Snarl though. Snarl kind of is like almost like a ninja, honorable kind of Dinobot character with a Junkion color scheme. So I dig him. He's pretty cool. But yeah, go check that one out. That's on the Hasbro YouTube channel. You could go check those out. I like the voice acting. I like where they're going with it. It's a very, we're stuck in Fortnite world, and we're just going to have to like get weapon packs and upgrades and level up in Fortnite world. But at the same time, 5-minute episodes, that kind of sucks. It's almost one of those things that I'm going to kind of wait until the whole show's done, and then you can make like a cool hyper cut of just like all the episodes in one. At least we'll probably have three half-hour episodes when it's all said and done. But I dig it. I dig it. I like what I see. It's fun. Little things written between the lines. I like some of the body language, like you see when Optimus says to Alita, like, "Oh, it's nice to see you again." You see Alita go like, "Oh, oh." It's like there's nice little animation cues there. So again, big shout out to the team and everything. Just wish it was longer. That's all. That's all I kind of hope for. No humans, and I wish it was longer. So good stuff. Good stuff. Then we have the new campaign. This was revealed at San Diego, the Activate Your Alt Mode campaign, and bringing back the classic version of the fan vote that started with Aaron Archer and then was kind of picked up with John Warden for a hot minute. And it's us pretty much creating something from the ground up in a lot of ways, where a lot of the fan votes we've been getting in the past, like I want to say like 6 to 7 years, have always been more just, hey, vote for something and then we'll make that character again. So it's like, hey, vote for like who's going to be the next reissue, vote for who's going to be the next Generations figure, vote for this. And ultimately in the end, what's funny is all these voting still lead to those characters, all the ones that even that don't win still get toys. But this time around, we're getting a much more traditional voting much like how we got with Windblade and Victorion, where we're deciding every piece along the way that then lead to the final product. So we're going to have first an Autobot versus Decepticon voting, Starscream versus Shockwave, and Mirage versus Grimlock, and voting who should be the featured character of that. So let's say Grimlock wins it. Then in the second round, it's going to be deciding a alt mode category. So land, sea, air, or wild card. Wild card could be like anything. Could be like a microscope. Could be a basketball. Think like bot shots in terms of the wild card. Excuse me, not bot shots. Bots. And then the final round will be whatever that category is. Let's say sea wins, then it's going to be four different sea-based kind of things. Let's say a shark or a manta ray. Let's say a battleship or a motorboat, or it's going to be some kind of sea-based alt mode, and then we pick that one, and then it'll be, oh, here's Shockwave that turns into a motorboat. So it's like, we'll see how that goes down. And then we'll get our final reveal on September 17th, which is Transformer Day, #Transformer Day, which is the celebration of the very first time the very first episode of Generation 1, Morta Meets the Eye Part 1 aired. So nice little celebration of that. And we'll see who it is. We will see who it is. It's, in all honesty, I kind of have my own opinion of where I'd like to steer that, but I don't want to make that public because I don't want to influence people's decisions. I rather people make their own choices. And then maybe we'll get something I didn't think of, some really cool ideas. I know Nate said he wanted an aquatic-based Grimlock, and I saw some other really good stuff too of people's suggestions. So we will see. And Frank Welker is going to be the host of all of this, voicing a G1 Soundwave, one of his primary characters outside of Megatron, of course. So check that out when that drops. It'll probably be, they didn't really mention how the voting's going to be done, but historically, all the past voting has been done through some kind of link on a website. So chances are it's going to be the same thing when, August 12th comes around. That's when that'll all happen. We'll have that. And again, we'll update you here on the podcast. We will. So we'll let you know what's popping with that and how to do all your things. And that's it, more or less. I mean, there's much more news, but I'm gonna cover it like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You might actually get a live stream, and I'll explain why in a moment. Protoman's gonna be gone again for another weekend. We just got back, and we're already leaving again for another weekend. Again, summer is the time to travel and do business and all kinds of craziness. And but first, I want to, again, San Diego, I want to give some shout outs to people and everything. So, again, just different crops of photos here. I didn't get to take a lot of photos this weekend, so I had to rely on other people's photos to do all this stuff. But top left there, want to give out shout out to Pat, the NES Punk, an individual last year that I had no idea who he was. He came by the Symbiote Studios booth, and we talked for like 2 hours about the business, and I had no idea the empire that he was behind. And he came by last weekend, and he gave me a gift or homework, I don't know which, one of his books, Ultimate N64 guidebook. I really love it because on the back he has the old ad for Gambare Goman there, so that's pretty hype. But and this thing, that put some weight on the old suitcase. I remember when he gave it to me, I was like, oh man, I got to find spot for this thing. So thank you, Pat, for that. That was really cool of you, brother. And he also gave me, bust these out too, a bunch of stickers from his live streams that he does. I probably should have got the address for his live stream. I think he does it on Twitch. So it's all 80s stuff. So, old Saturday mornings and, 80s jeans, and I love the 80s. So again, you could tell 80s boy, he's an 80s boy. So we had plenty to talk about that weekend. Pixel Dan, don't know him very well, but I kind of got roped into a video that he was doing, picking up a Duke figure with Pat the NES Punk. I don't know what happened with that footage. I guess he has a channel, so it'll probably be something with that. I had to be the appraiser on some vintage Mint in Box G1 stuff, so I was kind of roped in on that on the San Diego Comic-Con floor. So that's going to probably be coming to a channel near you somewhere. And then, of course, the top middle photo there, me and Matt Moylan at the San Diego legendary Hall H, talking about Mega Man. Might as well reach for that. Uh, my beautiful book. It came out just a past couple of days ago. July 30th was the debut of my book. It's selling out everywhere in its next printing. And man, oh man, um, the reception has been insanely positive. Insanely positive. Um, Edwin did a fantastic job. Actually, I'll get to Edwin in a moment. I'll get into it, like to talk about him because he gave me a bunch of cool stuff too. But me and Edwin really crushed it. Josh Perez did the colors. I mean, I loved it that people were saying, a lot of times when a comic book comes out, they go, man, the art's great. But they also were praising the writing and the lore because of my OCD when it comes to that stuff. But they were even praising the coloring. And again, that's good because Josh's coloring is the best in the biz. And I can't stress enough, just how sexy Josh's coloring is. So if you have not picked it up, go pick it up at your local comic book store. If you don't have a local comic book store, udonentertainment.com or udonstudios.com, I forget which is the one that has you know, has their website where you could buy the books online, so you could buy directly through them. I believe they'll be shipping out if you buy directly through them. They'll be shipping it out in a couple days, so you'll be able to get that. So yeah, so that was the top middle one. Again, Matt Moylan. We were hanging out with Eric Ko, who's the CEO of Udon, until like 1 a.m. in the morning, 2 a.m. in the morning, just talking business and the future, the next 2 years of Capcom, Mega Man, Street Fighter, and beyond. Stay tuned for that, my beautiful people. I am attached to that like an umbilical cord to mommy. Top right, we got me and Edwin, the artist. Let me grab some cool stuff from Edwin. So I got Edwin to do some original art for my book. You cannot even guess that this is a drawing. He is so good. When he handed this to me, I thought, like, did he just do like a stamp? Like, my goodness, look how nice that is. So that was really cool of him to do a nice little sketch and sign it on a Virgin cover there, looking real good. Thank you, Edwin, for that. You're a fantastic man. He wanted it to just give it to me for free, and I refuse. I will always pay an artist for their talents. They possess something that is only God given, that no man or woman could learn. You could learn to draw, but there's a certain polish that is only given to those where that side of their brain is just naturally talented and gifted to it. And he is one of those kind of people, you know? And even more stuff from him. He had a whole bunch of stickers. So I wanted to also, again, support. So I was with the wife. So the wife got to pick some stickers. So she picked obviously She picked all the people she cosplayed pretty much. So she picked a Chung Li, and then Edwin threw all the other Chung Li's in. So there's the, Gomene Chung Li, and then modern Street Fighter 6 Chung Li. And then I picked a nice Tifa Lockhart there. This one sold out very quickly at his booth, so good for him. And then Sandy also picked up a Sailor Moon. Nice big stickers. So again, check out Edwin's stuff. I wish I had his website uh, at my fingertips to tell you guys, but find him on socials. Iron Pinky at Iron Pinky on socials, and then that'll probably lead you to his website where you could buy stickers, posters, and everything. And speaking of posters, protected. Here's Edwin's giant poster of Chung Li's wardrobe. It's kind of all glossy because I put it in a giant top loader because I'm actually protecting the stuff behind it also. But got that from Edwin too. I refused to get gifts. I had to give him some moolah for it, so that was awesome. The stuff behind it is because one of the Gundam designers, Tenjin, was there that weekend, so I got a bunch of autographs for my buddies. This is one for me. There's to Proto Man, but there's a whole bunch of them in here. Oh my god, now I'm going to put this back. So I got like 5 autographs for some of my other Gundam buddies here in Montreal, which I'm going to hook them up with this weekend. I don't know if Young is in the chat. Sometimes you see Young, he's in the chat here, or he's in the Aaron Archer chat. Oh, we got a super chat. I'll get to that in a moment. But yeah, again, thank you, Edwin. You're a boss, my man. Keep up the great work, and I hope to work with you many times more in the future. Maybe that little other one shot we've been planning that's not public yet. Maybe we'll work on that. Mateus with the super chat. Love the SDCC reveals. Can't help but feel a bit sad and burned out by the prices, taxes, scalpers, and exclusives. All just for slightly better versions of the same characters like the Seekers. Well, I mean, it's the reality that I've always told people is that if you do an Apex version of a character, and this is not a good example, but let's say like this is the best Ironhide figure ever, right? I mean, it isn't obviously, where do you go from there? They have to always figure out a way to keep going because you can't just end it. Oh, here's the best Ironhide. We're never doing a G1 Ironhide again. They always have to do a little better, do a little better, do a little better. And I'll get into that in a moment when we talk about some items here that we got gifts from even the Hasbro people. But yeah. And then, of course, on the bottom left there, we got the Hasbro crew. We got Nate, we got Mark, we got Evan. Nate and Evan, I've talked to many times in the past in shows and stuff like that. Mark, it was the very first time that we hung out in person and found quite a kinship with him. I think me and Mark have a lot of the same energy. I don't want to name names, but a certain someone who's a big name in the toy industry watched our interview that we posted a few days ago, the Fly on the Wall interview. And he was saying, man, if you watch your interview just on mute, you could look at the body language of all the different people and you could tell, like, you get into that whole sociology of introverts and extroverts and like, mimicking, like there's all kinds of like body language sociology going on there. And they were saying, like, yeah, you and Mark are like locked in, you know? Um, but yeah, he's a really cool dude. Really cool dude. Loves to laugh, loves to have a good time. The best way to compare him is he's a golden retriever. He's happy no matter where he's at. Doesn't matter. He's at San Diego. Let's go. Let's go. He's at, Avo. Let's go. Like, so he's a really cool dude. Really cool guy. But I also got to give a shout out to Evan. Evan is the knowledge man. He's like me. He knows the lore. He knows the history, not just of Transformers, but other brands. And I always heavily respect people like that make an effort to just have a huge knowledge base and everything. And I gotta love Nate. Nate is a cool dude too. He hooked me up with a bunch of stuff. Oh God, where do I even go with all of this? Uh, uh, Nate gave me this guy here, one of the brand new timelines kind of crossover Hearts of Steel thing. He hooked me up with that. Um, he also gave me, oh geez, so much crap. He gave me these guys just because why not? He's like, do you have these? I'm like, no. He's like, well, here you go. So I got these now too. Um, what else? Hold on. Emily gave me this right here, as well as a stack of Void Rivals San Diego Comic-Con exclusive comic books. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that stack yet. I might want to do something for my patrons with that stack of comics. I haven't figured out yet because it's still in my suitcase. So I don't know how many I have. I know it was a good stack of them. I want to say maybe 10. So they, got this bad boy. Uh, Emily also gave me some Magic the Gathering packs. That was what I really wanted this whole weekend. I wanted these Spider-Man Magic the Gathering packs so I could play Magic all weekend. So that's really cool. Thank you, Emily, for those. What else? Oh yeah. And Nate gave me this also straight from the glass display that you guys got to see. So I promised that I would show the transformation a little bit. Not too much though, because I'm kind of one of these guys that like, I feel showing transformations is kind of a spoiler. I want people to just enjoy it. But I will say one thing about this. The feet have a crazy transformation on it. Like there's folding and layers and stuff that like, so here's what you got here. This is going to be like, this is supposed to be toy sea spray, right? But here's the thing, right? So you could fold the feet, untuck. One moment. Need some water. It's going to be one of those nights. So you could like fold and tuck. Let me just show you some. So like the feet are like flat like this. You could do this. You fold out a piece like that. And then you have that piece. And I'll just fold out the last one. And I'm going to show you a comparison side by side with his other foot. One moment. It's a whole bunch of panels and stuff. So there's the left foot. There's the, oh, probably should make it flush. There we go. There's the left foot. There's the right foot. So that could be like a toy accurate foot that's much more bulbous, like the original toy, and the other one could be a show accurate foot. And obviously, it's part of the transformation. But I could already see where you could, much like the Brawn, where there's a certain kind of leg transformation that then leads to it being more show accurate to toy accurate. But very cool. Just the feet alone, all these like folds and pieces and parts, very well done. Almost like a masterpiece level, kind of like just folding and everything for something that's a deluxe. Which I mean, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. One problem though, I think I don't have the gun. When Nate gave it to me, I was like, "Oh, that's cool," and then I was like, "Oh, I don't think it has the gun," but whatever. It's not a big deal, you know. He just looks great, looks fantastic. And anyways, a toy accurate sea spray wouldn't have the gun; only the show accurate one would, and that'll probably be later. So thank you, Nate, for that. That was really cool of you to hook me up with that, brother. Uh, what else? What else? So much here, so much. I'll get to some of the other presents in a moment. Um, but yeah, so that was the Hasbro crew. They're all hype as hell. Then of course Shelton Benjamin, he came by the booth last year. He came by the booth again. We hung out for a bit, talked about Hulk Hogan. That's all we're gonna say. I won't go in deeper into that, but we talked about Hogan and all that stuff. So just hung out at the booth and everything. You could kind of see different clothing on me for different days. I had to have 5 different ensembles for 5 different key days of the week, and then the 2 days of setup where I was just like, oh my goodness, setup and breakdown. So a solid 7 days of madness. But yeah, Shelton was really cool too. Glad he came by with his cousin and we were all hanging out, talking the robots in the skies, talking wrestling. Very cool of him, brother. Nice to see you again. Hope to see you next year. He was telling me how he got some of the RoboSen stuff this time around. I think he got the Megatron and the Bumblebee. So he was very hyped about that. And then he came back afterward and gave autographs to everyone at the booth. So that was nice of him to do that. So I have his autograph somewhere upstairs from all that craziness. So very cool, but we're not done yet. Of course, I have to give shout outs to everyone at the Symbiote booth. So, of course, first our guests that we had on the weekend, we had, of course, the voice of Starscream, Frank Totaro. He was chilling with us. And, of course, the Transformers 1 voice actor extraordinaire, let me get the autograph I got from him, of Jason Alvarez, who was Shockwave. I got a nice signed trading card from him. So thank you, Jason. Frank, I've gotten his autograph 10 times over. And the cool thing about uh, Jason is he left behind a whole bunch of pre-signed autograph stuff. So I took a stack of them to bring to TFCon for people that will want, as well as patrons if they want Shockwave's autograph. So I took a bunch of them for patrons and stuff. If they, want his autograph and everything, I'll throw it in with our a next shipment of orders or stuff or an exclusive at Chicago. We'll see. Again, it's. I always try to think of stuff for you guys. So if you want Shockwave from Transformers One autograph, just let me know. Got a bunch of them. But again, shout out to the whole crew. Uh, Joseph, Eric, Sean, Kay. I know I'm forgetting people because I'm a terrible human being, but you know, absolutely, absolutely love those guys, and we had a fantastic time that weekend. I was really trying to spread my physical form across 3 different locations: the Udon Capcom booth, the Hasbro booth, and the Symbiote Studio booth. And I like to believe I did a half decent job over 7 days trying to do that. But they did fantastically well. The G2 Snarl absolutely sold out, like gone, absolutely gone. The Laserbeak's shoulder sitter sold out. The Grimlock shirt that I'm wearing today, this was their brand new Grimlock shirt. The large and extra large, absolutely gone, sold out. So they did extremely well that weekend. Pins were doing well. The Soundwave pin sold out. The GI Joe logo pin sold out. Like, it was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic weekend. People were very happy with it. I mean, Hasbro people came by. They got their hookups too with this licensed stuff. So it was great. It was absolutely great. Absolutely great. I'll get into my Hulk Hogan stuff in a moment because Hulk Hogan has always been an important aspect of my life. I'm not going to take the political route. I'm Canadian. I don't care. He's a real American. I'm a real Canadian. You know, I'll get into that in a moment. But yeah, again, Symbiote guys, love you guys. You're amazing. Next time you'll be seeing the Symbiote Studio guys, if you're a Transformer fan, will be TFCon LA. And why is TFCon LA important for next year in March? Well, because we have some reveals. So all the plushes of the Dinobots have now been done. At San Diego, we had the G2 Snarl for purchase, which sold out. But we also had on the bottom right there G1 Snarl for purchase. Swoop will be debuting at TFCon LA. He will not be exclusive to TFCon LA, but he will be debuting at TFCon LA. So if you are at TFCon LA, you will be able to get all the Dinobots as well as the brand new Swoop plush that will be debuting in LA in a couple of months. So check that out, as well as, and these are also new ones here, you might be seeing these for the first time, the brand new deluxe sized plushes. These were shown behind the booth just as little preview teasers. We have Commander Optimus, we have Scheming Starscream, and we have Brave Bumblebee. These are all in prototype form right now. These are not the final versions, but these are much larger. Let me just show you guys the. Oh boy, there goes Unicron. There goes Unicron. Big old Unicron. That's when you have like a million plushes on your couch. So this is the Soundwave Superior, and just to kind of show you with the old one, so how much bigger they are. So it's the same thing that there goes Tahu. There goes everybody. Sorry, Unicron. Oh well. But yeah, so we're gonna have larger versions of these ones too, and yeah, those will also be hopefully debuting at TFCon LA, and again on the website. These won't be exclusive to a show; they will be available at some point. So check those out too. Brand new stuff there. And of course, check out Symbiote and all their beautiful stuff and products and everything. There's the full list right there. Man, did I make a huge mess. Typical Ultra Magnus. You caused it all. You caused it all. Unicron caused the mess and Ultra Magnus. Damn. Ugh, what a mess. This is the culprit right here. This guy takes so much space. So much space. Knocked over everything. Ugh, put him here for now. I think I'm going to have to reassess the plus situation back here. Got like everything. Airy Nuts with the $2 super chat. Octo Punch into a Sea Spray repaint. Well, I imagine you can get G2 colors. That's going to be like the given. Obviously, they're going to do probably a more show accurate color scheme, because I do feel that the this one here, there's little tweaks and stuff, everything that could be done to make it more show accurate afterwards. Even the weapon too. So there's that. And then yeah, you could go GoBot colors, because there's Mano War. There was a Mano War GoBot repaint that was done through the Fun Publication supplemental material, so you could do that one. And then of course, yeah, if you want to go Octo Punch with a brand new face sculpt, I mean, at the end of the day, it wouldn't be really accurate, because Octo Punch is, that was kind of a forced thing through Fun Publications back in the day. But I mean, I always say if you get 3 repaints out of a mold, you're good to go. So just, like Toy, G2, Mano War, show accurate, you're good right there. You don't even need the Octo Punch. Save Octo Punch for an actual decent Octo Punch figure, in my opinion. Do it right. Do it right. The T-Formers 2002 just had a Mano War, There's that one. So, and then of course all the other stuff, man, they debuted a bunch of new pony stuff. Something called Discord, not like the chat group, but like a character. I don't know. I don't know my pony stuff. So there was all of that. Still have more stuff to show you guys. One moment. There's this. There's this. There's this. I want to make sure I don't forget anybody. So much. So much. And there's still stuff upstairs. Like, I have too much stuff. But yeah. Also want to give a shout out to Brian of the Toys That Made Us from Nacelle Universe. Brian was really cool, and his crew. They were across from us with the Biker Mice from Mars booth. And Brian from the Toys That Made Us hooked me up. He gave me the motorcycles for Biker Mice from Mars. He gave me a whole bunch of stuff. But the best thing he gave me was this guy right here. Number 2 of 100. The hand painted hot dog throttle from Micro Mice from Mars. Thank you, Brian, for that. Thank you for making sure that I got number two. Giggity. And yeah, that was really awesome of you, man. That was really, really cool of you. And the motorcycles. The motorcycles probably saved me like what, $170. I don't have to buy the motorcycles now. So that was really cool of him. So that was, that booth. They're going to be the new Super 7. And I mean that in a positive way. I don't mean that in a bad financial decision way. I mean, like in terms of the vibe. They're going to be the new Super 7 because Super 7, it wasn't looking good for them. If you saw what Super 7's booth was in 2024 and how it looked in 2025, oh boy. I mean, I don't wish bad on them. I love what Super 7 does, but that it was not a good look, for the company and in terms of investing in their future products. So, but yeah, yeah, Nacelle, thank you guys. Great stuff. We had a fan of the podcast came by and gave a bunch of stickers. So I'm going to give a shout out to Falcon. This is like a Mario style, it's Top Gun style. And he did this one here. He gave me all his info here. So check out his art on Instagram at LL Falcon or on X LL Falcon, Twitter. So check out his stuff. Thank you that. Thank you that. Anytime someone gives me like a gift stickers, I always want them to write their stuff on the back so I could give them a shout out. So that's pretty cool. And then let's see, we got from Edgar. Edgar, where did you get this? Because this was a TF Expo exclusive in Japan. So he got me the uh, acrylic hot rod TF Expo exclusive acrylic. That's really awesome of you. Thank you, man. That's going right into the hot rod display. And he also helped me out because, man, the Mattel booth that weekend was bumping. The lines were insane. So if you wanted to get an exclusive from Mattel, good effing luck. But I just wanted to get Pauline from the ever awesome, look at this thing, from the ever awesome Super Mario Kart series. Although Pauline made her debut in World Tour Mario Kart Tour, actually. So I wanted to get that beautiful box. So he managed to hook me up with two of those so I could have one to open and one to keep sealed. Keep it nice and sealed. So very, very cool. Thank you for that, Edgar. And there's other stuff too. There's tons of stuff. There's just too much stuff. But that's a general, more or less, of I got a lot of other stuff from the Hasbro crew and just everything like that. So a lot of craziness. Uh, Patrick Brown, any word on Mattel of the Wave 3 Street Sharks? For lack of better words, dead in the water, it looks like. What a surprise. A toy line that only I liked and then was revived, and then no one showed up, unfortunately. Last San Diego, they showed off Wave 3 with Moby Licks, Manta Man, and I believe it was Rocks. Was it Rocks that was shown? I have the originals, so I don't really remember offhand. Radical Benz would have been a nice addition, too. They did a whole push. They did posters. They did a SDCC exclusive last year. Like, it was Street Sharks year at San Diego. This year, you wouldn't even have known if it existed. There was no evidence of any Street Sharks at the show except for me with a patch on my shoulder. That's about it. So, unfortunately, it doesn't look like there'll be any Street Sharks anytime soon. I hope that that I'm wrong. I want to see more Street Sharks. I want to see Moby Licks get an update with articulation with his tongue and everything, but there showed no signs of it. They were really busy kind of promoting Jurassic Park, the new He-Man movie that's coming out next year. So they were kind of in that mode. Maybe it's not dead. Maybe they just wanted to focus on promoting something else, but that's what it kind of looked like. Not to mention Mattel, along with a lot of other companies, were really leaning hard into the Jaws 50th celebration. So there was like a lot of booths for like, oh, Jaws celebration stuff. So, you would have thought like, oh, hey, here's this Jaws celebration. Don't you want to like talk about Street Sharks with Jaws? Maybe they didn't want to create confusion. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe I'm thinking 3D chess here. Like, oh, if they would have had Street Sharks on the booth, it would have created confusion with the Jaws brand. And they're trying to celebrate Jaws, and they have a Jaws exclusive, and they don't want to have Street Sharks. People think that it's the same brand, but it isn't. I don't know. I don't know. Kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Hopefully, we'll get an update on it, and maybe it's still alive. Maybe it's still alive. Patrick Brown, they were asking 25 USD. I don't know. Maybe that was fair. I mean, I thought the prices were good at 25. Considering how big they are, how heavy those figures are, the packaging that it comes in, which is very classic. And when you compare it to, let's say, like your average, Star Wars Black Series or Marvel Legends, I mean, it's pretty even in terms of plastic weight and display and box cost. Like when you're talking like how much it costs to like do packaging and everything. I think they're fantastic. The only regret I have is I wish I bought like two of the ripsters of the original ones. I only bought one. I should have bought two of them. But I bought the pool shark. I have that one. I have the signed poster by all the designers, and they just weren't there. They were celebrating something else. You know, so it is what it is. Unfortunately, it is what it is. What else do we have to talk about? Of course, Aaron Archer. We have his podcast, which be sure to check out the latest episode. Kind of ironic because they just revealed Razor Claw Universe Edition. And now we're going to talk about Razor Claw Universe Edition and Robert Parrish, who did the coloring on that. So go check out that segment on the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer, where we talk about Transformers Universe and all its crazy history. Go check out Aaron Archer's Posca paintings. He put a whole bunch of new ones up. I just did not have the time to update this slide because I am so behind schedule on everything. And Lord knows this weekend is not going to be any better. Well, not this weekend. Next weekend won't be any better. Get into that in a moment. Check out Bin Studios with their Unicron upgrade kit. I know some people have been interested in buying those. They were asking me about it. So there's that greatness too. And of course, go check out Mega Man Timelines, Mega Man X Timelines issue number 1 out in your local comic book store right now, written by me. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it. I think that's it. I think that's it. But yeah, this was the big fiddle figure the whole weekend in a lot of ways. So that was pretty cool. Again, thank you, Nate, for that. But to talk about next weekend. So next weekend is Montreal Otakuthon. It's the second biggest anime convention in North America. I will be there as a guest. I will have a double booth. One booth will just be Hasbro products, specifically Transformers and all the related stuff with that. The other booth with me will be the Mega Man, Udon, Capcom stuff. I will have copies of the book for sale, variant covers, all kinds of stuff, little gifts for people who spend past a certain amount. There's a little extra gift for that too. And then we're going to be doing panels, reveals, all kinds of stuff. So that'll be Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Because my panel is going to be extremely late, I think it starts at 7 p.m. on Saturday. I will not be able to do a live stream. So what I'm going to be doing is Thursday, because I have to do setup of the booth on Thursday, but after setup's done, I could go home. So when I come home Thursday, I will be doing a live stream for you guys on Thursday night. So kind of a weird night to be doing it. I don't know the exact time. I'll aim for 8 p.m. Thursday, but we'll be doing a Thursday night live stream because Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I am going to be gone all weekend for another big convention. But if you're in the Montreal area, go check out Otakuthon next weekend. I will be there. Check the guest section. The Japanese voice of Proto Man and Superlink Rodimus will be there that weekend. So if you can't find me at my booth, take a guess which line I'll be standing in with a big smile on my face. So that he'll be there that weekend too. Rio Toro something, the voice of Superlink Rodimus. So that's pretty cool. And Proto Man from Mega Man Rokuman 8. So that's pretty hype. But yeah, that's it more or less, I think, of stuff. I think. Yeah. Was it Toys? Oh, yeah. I met an individual, Toys R Us. He came by the Rio Toro Okio. Thank you, Autovolt GTS. That's right. I don't speak Japanese perfectly, so I'm going to pronounce these. I'm going to butcher them, but he'll be there that weekend. The singer for some of the JoJo Bizarre Adventure intros is going to be having a concert, and he'll be there that weekend. So all kinds of Japanese stuff. Japanese VTubers will be there. That girl Kizune Ai is going to be there. VTuber, like all kinds of wackiness, all kinds of wackiness. Why got my yellow Patreon cartridge in the mail today. Super sick. Very hyped for it. Well, I'm happy you got it, my man. When did I ship those out? I know. I hope you didn't get it just now. I was hoping that you got it maybe sooner. That's again Patreon exclusive for you guys. I always want to reward my Patreon people. You know, so you got that in the mail, yo. Bada boom. These will be available also at TFCon Chicago, but that'll be the last run of them. Chicago will be the last tour of it, and then it's retired because then we're going into 2026, celebrating the 40th anniversary of the movie and a new brand new exclusive with the Transformer Slag podcast and the following conventions afterwards with that. So stay tuned for that one. But Yellow will still be available at Chicago, and then we'll have other stuff afterwards. If you are interested in getting the exclusives, you have to join the Patreon. If you come to shows, you can buy it from me if you're not a patron or not. But if you are a patron, you can't make it to the conventions, we'll give you an opportunity to pick them up on the side after the show. We always put aside some units for our Patreon people as a thank you for all the love and support for everything that we do here at the pod. I think it shipped last Tuesday-ish, but I checked my mail today, so it could have been here a few days. Okay, cool. I don't know how quickly these things ship out, so I always hope for the best with it. Oh my God, I need to shave. I look terrible. I'm looking in the camera and I'm like, oh my God, I need to shave. I look like crap. But yeah, it was a great weekend. It was a fantastic weekend. Again, shout out to the Hasbro crew, shout out to the Udon crew. Everyone was super professional. We all hung out afterwards in the after hours and just talked the business. And it was absolutely great. The Symbiote Studio crew going out to eat, getting some yummy food and just fantastic. Airy Nuts with the $2 super chat. Chug Shredhead when, well, I don't know. That's something where it's like, you'd have to like think about trademarks, mister. So, and I don't know do people still use chug? Really? Do we still use chug? I thought that term has been retired since nothing is generation, now it'd have to be like CHUG, and then you have the United line, which was a spin-off, and then you have all the legacy stuff, and then you have all the other combiner wars and everything. It'd be like CH, and it's be like a million letters. Wouldn't just be chug anymore. So I would just say generation-esque, classic-esque, and even then you wouldn't count studio series stuff as part of chug, even though some of those molds cross-pollinate across each other. So that term, ooh, it's almost vulgar. But yeah, so we'll probably talk about we'll take some super chats from you guys, but one thing that I want to talk about is Hulk Hogan. How I found out about Hulk Hogan passing away was I was walking through, it was early morning at San Diego, and I was walking, and one dealer said to another, and it was like faint, "Hey, did you hear Hulk Hogan died?" And I was I was like, "Did I just hear what I think I heard?" And I'm like, nah, that can't be right. And I was walking with my wife, Sandy, and Sandy's like, "Really? Like, that's what you heard?" I'm like, "Yeah, I think someone just said Hulk Hogan died." And she pulled out her phone, she looked it up and confirmed it right there. Um, Now, Hulk Hogan has always been one of those guys that I've always been kind of hit or miss with when it comes to my feelings about him, and has nothing to do with the political stuff or the racist stuff. That's a whole other animal. I'm Canadian. I don't care about the politics stuff and the racist stuff. Well, my best friend's black, my wife is Asian, my house is red bricks, I drive a black car. I don't care about colors. You know what I mean? I don't focus on that kind of stuff. Culture is more important than color, in my opinion. But anyways, point being is, you know, I've always been kind of hot or cold with him because the fact of the matter is, and I talked about this on another podcast many years ago, one of my very first memories ever, if I, what was the first memory you've ever had as a child? Like, how far back could your brain go? And me, it was like 1984, 1985, sitting on the floor of the living room of my parents' in a diaper and watching Hulk Hogan or Knight Rider, David Hasselhoff. Like those are like my two earliest memories. And wrestling, if you were a kid in the early 80s and the mid 80s and the late 80s, I mean, geez, how could you not? But I also was a huge Bret Hart guy. And Bret Hart and Hulk Hogan, you know, oil and water. And so I've always been more in the Bret Hart camp when it comes to Mr. Hogan in the later years. I love the NWO, but maybe I love the NWO more because of Razor Ramon and, AKA Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, AKA Diesel. Hulk Hogan wasn't the part of NWO that I was excited about. It was more about the outsiders. But you can't deny Hogan's impact on the wrestling world. My wife doesn't give a crap about wrestling. She probably can't name one wrestler outside of Bret Hart, but she could name Hulk Hogan. She knew who Hulk Hogan was long before. And you can't deny that everything that we have of wrestling today, including my beloved Bret Hart and anyone who's a modern wrestling fan, it would not exist if it wasn't for Hulk Hogan. Vince McMahon himself even said if he wouldn't have had Hulk Hogan, he would have probably used Dusty Rhodes. And I love Dusty Rhodes, but Dusty Rhodes is not Hulk Hogan. I don't think it would have been the same superhero 1980s thing, you know? So it's a whole other animal with that. We got the Twins corner with a super chat. So Clawjaw and Polar Claw in that maximal pack. Well, I guess if they take Quintus Prime and turn it into Clawjaw, I could say that much. I remember when, oh no, did we get a whole bunch of gifted subs? Is that Mr. Tankies? Oh no, Mr. Tankies. Mr. Tankies, you are one amazing individual. Mayoral Fabrication got one. Is Ninjatron in the chat? Did he get one? Larry got gifted one. Oh my goodness. Shiro the Noodles. A whole bunch of some of my patrons are getting are getting memberships here. Goodness. Oh my god. I'm gonna have to turn off the notifications one moment. Otherwise it's gonna go on all day. There we go. Thank you, Mr. Tankies, for the YouTube memberships to everybody. That's really cool of you. Very, very cool of you. But it's something where again, I've always recognized his importance to the industry and everything that he's done, and how the industry would not exist today if not for him, because he was the right place, the right time, the right character, the right charisma. He was in movies prior to that, like Rocky 3, which is a big effing deal long before he became huge. And that kind of brought Hulkamania. We're talking like the territory days, long before he went to the WWF. Like, I'm a huge wrestling historian, and Bret Hart and wrestling stuff is on my tower right here, you know? And but I've always been conflicted about my emotions. I love Hulk Hogan in Japan, who he was in Japan. I have Hulk Hogan's Japanese vinyl record where he sung on it. It's not very good. It's a little catchy, but it's not the best. Um, but I've always been I always felt like I like Terry Bollea, how he existed in like the 80s, and the Hulk Hogan and the Terry Bollea and who he became later on in life. Not so much so. Mr. It doesn't work for me, brother, Hulk Hogan. Let's put it that way for anyone who knows what I'm talking about. So that's why I've always been conflicted. I mean, if I had to make a top 5 favorite wrestlers of all time for me, Hulk Hogan doesn't make that list, you know, even though I could recognize importance and greatness, but he wouldn't make my list. Same way how Optimus Prime is probably the most important Transformer of all time, but he wouldn't make my top 5. So in the same way that, it's just something where it's a shame that, he passed away early. I always felt like him and Ric Flair were going to always be the two survivors of his generation. He had a lot of medical complications, but, that's the name of the game from that era. You know, the steroid users of that era, unfortunately, it catches up to them, but he also had a lot of other health issues and his body just gave up on him after like the billions of surgeries that he's had. You can only go under the knife and under the gas so many times. So, how you doing, Shiro? Yeah, you got gifted a membership. Thank you, Mr. Tankies again. You know, thank you, thank you. But yeah, like I mean, if I had like Big Bot, who's one of my patrons, same thing. I was more of a Macho Man guy. Looking back as a kid, I had all the LJN figures. Well, not all of them. Everyone always says that as an over exaggeration, but I had a lot of them. Jesse Body Ventura, um, Macho Man, Junkyard Dog, Bret Hart, Jim the Anvil, and of course my Hogan with championship belt. I even had the ring and everything. I wish I still had the ring. My mom sold it to the neighbors. Damn it, mom. Mm. Um, but the point is that like, you know, you can't deny how great he was, but I was always like more of a Macho Man guy. And even today, cup of coffee in the big time, you know, so much better in my opinion. Uh, but again, can't deny it. Can't deny it. You know, in the same way, like, you can look back at other guys like Ultimate Warrior. And even though Jim Hellwig, the human being, ugh, Jim Hellwig, who was the Ultimate Warrior, not a good person. But you can't deny his impact on the industry and how people for a hot minute were excited about the Ultimate Warrior and how he was a cool video. Like if you played WrestleFest in the arcades, how could you not use the Ultimate Warrior? You know, I got to meet Jake the Snake. Very cool dude. Very humble dude. Jake was really cool. I did a convention where I was a dealer, and then I went to his table when the con was over and hung out with him for a bit. He was a really cool dude. Very cool. He didn't care about paying for, people paying for autographs. He was just chill. Very cool. You know, well, Jimmy Fly Snuka has his own little dark history. Horned Owl. Again, if we could talk wrestling all night, let me tell you. But Mr. Snuka, probably shouldn't Google him and what happened with his career, what happened to him. But you know, it's again, it's it's a tough one. It's a tough one. I will say this: the irony, maybe because we're Canadian, went to Walmart today, and they have the brand new WrestleMania Elite Edition figurines. None of the Bret Harts. Who else was in that wave? Someone else was in that wave, but none of the Bret Harts. Plenty of the Hulk Hogans. So usually when someone passes away, people kind of bum rush to get stuff of a person because like, oh, it's like when Prince passed away. I remember everyone was buying like Prince albums and they were buying like all kinds of stuff. Um, Hogan passes away and plenty of Hulk Hogan figures left over in Walmart. So I think people even, are divided, unfortunately. And me, it's never been a political reason. I'm not going to judge a person based on their politics. I don't care. I don't care which rich millionaire you're cheering for. And that's not going to change my opinion of you. If you really like Donald Trump, hey, good on you. If you really like whoever the other guy you would have been voting for, Kamala Biden, or, good on you. I don't care. I'm not a political guy because I don't care about politics. That doesn't change my life. And those people, at the end of the day, they don't really care about you, left or right, either side. Spoiler, they really don't. Where's my slide? Where's my slide? I like pulling this up. This is my life in a nutshell, people. Okay? So I won't judge you based on that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? I will judge you based on your hobbies, based on your interests, not based on your choices of political stuff or weird proclivities of that. And so if people are going to hate on Hogan for that, okay, that's your jam, sure. I would be more, oh, you hate him for the racist stuff. I think that would be probably the one I would expect you to hate him for. You know what I mean? I would hope that that would be the one, not it's like, oh, the racist stuff, I don't care about that. But oh, he endorsed Donald Trump. That's why I'm mad. And it's like, really? Okay. Sure. Anyways, I don't care about that. You know, I'll judge a person for who they are, not by what they enjoy, you know? My neighbor across the street, I probably shouldn't even say it, but he likes to collect coins of a certain 1940s German background. Let's put it that way. Um, but he's still a cool dude. I like my neighbor. He's still a cool dude, even if he probably has a very interesting hobby. Let's put it that way. Let's put it that way. Um, but yeah, who do I like in wrestling? So if I had to make my top five, obviously Bret Hart number one by a far margin. Macho Man Randy Savage, Dusty Rhodes, Dwayne the Rock Johnson, and then I always like to slot in, how I feel at that moment. And that number five spot could be John Morrison in a more modern era. I like John Morrison. He was really cool. Um, you know, sorry. Sometimes when we're talking high flyers, great Sasuke from the Japanese side of things, great Muda, another dude that's like absolutely awesome. So I kind of like slide into that with those guys. Like, like picture like if Rey Mysterio was crazy, that's great Sasuke. You know what I mean? Like, I love Rey Mysterio, but Great Sasuke is like that dude is the high flyer among high flyers. So that's just a few, just to name there. Rowdy Roddy Piper. I mean, how could I forget Rowdy Roddy Piper, fellow Canadian, absolutely amazing human being. What a mind on him. You know, I mean, I could go on and on, but like those are just some off the top of my head. Hogan doesn't even, again, as a kid, I liked Hogan, but who didn't like Hogan as a kid? But then when you started to, you know, when you start to get a little sharper, you start to realize, I forget who said it. I think it was, it was one of those wrestling podcasters. They said, as a kid, you're a Hogan fan. As an adult, you become a Randy Savage fan. And that is so true. That is so true, like for so many people. So, Doink the Clown, which one though? Is it the Adam Bourne Doink? Because that's the best one. That's the scary Doink. Virgil, I met Virgil. Not a cool dude. Not a cool dude. I got Virgil's autograph. Yeah, I felt like he was trying to get more money out of me. I just wanted. I have a Virgil action figure signed by him, and as I was getting signed by him, the whole time, like he would sign kind of the autograph and he was like, "Hey, do you want like some prints or anything?" And I respect the hustle. I get it. I get it. You want to make some more sales, make some more money, buy yourself some groceries. I respect the hustle. But man, he was pushing. He was pushing. I felt like he was going to sign an autograph and hand it to me and then force me to buy it. Like I felt like he was like already pulling the paper. What's your name again? What's your name? Oh, Daniel. Like, I don't know. Old Virgil. Virgil, Virgil, Virgil. But Bret Hart gave him the Bret Hart family handshake, so maybe Bret Hart liked them. So I don't know. Bret Hart's always been cool to the brothers. So Bret Hart always likes the brothers and the sisters, so that's probably the secret. That's why Virgil got the love, you know. DDP is great, great human being. Undertaker's cool. I love Kane. I always thought Kane brought a little bit of that, magic to the 97, 98 era of the WWE in terms of like the flames and the lightning and stuff. Ric Flair is a legend. I could go on. I even have a soft spot for guys like Glacier, you know. Um, I have a soft spot for what's his name? Juventud Guerrero, uh, you know, uh, Alex Wright. If anyone knows the old WCW dudes, I have like a soft spot for like 80s and 90s, obviously. Kind of a bit of a biased attitude era wrestling and WCW. How could I not talk about Owen Hart and British Bulldog and Jim the Anvil Neidhart and all those dudes? I grew up loving the Steiner brothers. Me and my sister watched the Steiner brothers all the time. We loved it when they were in the WWE, when they were wrestling against Money Inc. Like I could talk about wrestling for hours. I can't stress that enough. This whole podcast, guys, this whole podcast was born out of me listening to wrestling podcasts and going, man, I want to do that, but Transformers. because they would talk about the business. They would talk about the behind the scenes. They would talk about the development. And I'm like, that, but Transformers. History, but Transformers. The business, but Transformers. Interviews, but Transformers. This podcast was born out of my love of wrestling. And although Transformers will always be my number one thing in my life, wrestling is what I listen to. I don't really listen to other Transformer content creators. When Hulk Hogan passed away, I listened to Jim Cornette's 2 hours of talking about Hulk Hogan. That's how I spent my morning, you know? Rudy Mack, what's up, Rudy? Rudy Mack with the YouTube member question. I was amazed by Ric Flair throwing away $600 shoes. These shoes, these shoes are worth more than all the clothing on your body. I spend more on spilt liquor than you do on the rest of your life. I love Ric Flair. Lex Luger. Lex Luger is a fascinating human being. Go and watch. He did an interview. He did 2 interviews. He did an interview with Sean Oliver with KFEB commentaries. Fascinating interview. Fascinating individual. And then he did an interview with a very, like, I think it was like a Christian podcast. And I'm not a religious person at all. I just want to just preface that. But it was an interesting interview. I think it was called the 500 Club, the 100 Club. Someone who's Christian probably knows what I'm talking about. He did an interview with them, and both of them were very fascinating because they were more about, it wasn't religious based. It was more just, confidence in yourself, believing in yourself, pushing through adversity. He went into a car accident, a motorcycle accident, almost got his arm amputated, building back from that. Very, very fascinating human being that you could take a lot away from. Was a bit of an arrogant guy, did have his drug problems at one point, but everyone has their redemption arc at some point. No one cannot be saved. And I don't mean that in a religious way. I mean that in a, just an actual factual way. Another fascinating individual, that 700 Club, I guess that's what it is. But, just a very interesting dude. Very interesting dude. I would love to meet him and talk to him because he seems like a very cerebral individual. And I always appreciate those kind of people that um, believe in themselves and believe that they could do anything. And I don't even mean that in a cliche. I mean, put their mind to something and actually do it, and actually make it happen. Because that's the way I live my life. I'm the kind of person that's like, I love Transformers. I want to do stuff with Transformers. And I did. I love Mega Man. It's my namesake. I want to do stuff with Mega Man. And I did. What's next? I mean, if I was younger, maybe I'll be in the ring in the WWE and wrestle Logan Paul and get rid of him for ruining YouTube. You know? Um, it's something where I really appreciate people that really put their mind to stuff and really try to achieve their goals and dreams and not just oh, what if. And so Lex is one of those guys that really I'm going to do football on an NFL level. Boom. I'm going to do bodybuilding on a professional level. Boom. I'm going to do wrestling on a professional level. Boom. One, boom, boom, boom. It's you got to respect that. You got to respect that stuff. Where am I at right now? Oh, we only got half an hour left. Man, have I been rambling already? Rambling already. I don't know. I don't know why this was the score of the weekend for me. I don't know why. I was just so happy to get this. So happy to get this thing. I got a bunch of other stuff. It's all upstairs, comic books, all kinds of craziness. Again, thank you so much. The Hasbro people, man, they showered me and the Symbiote Studio crew. Oh my God, how did I forget? Shout out to Marcelo, the box designer for all the Transformer stuff. Marcelo, we hung out for a hot minute. He's a fascinating human being. Shout out to Marcelo, now a fellow Canadian. Used to live in Brazil. He moved to Canada recently. Hung out with him. We talked about the business and, jobs and everything. So shout out to him. God, there was an individual that I met from the Todd McFarlane camp. He came by. He was a writer who's working on the Sam and Twitch books. Someone helped me out here. I'm sorry I forgot your name, sir, but he came by. We talked about, the writing industry and everything, and like just so much networking. What a great weekend. What a great weekend. I always tell people San Diego is not about the guests and the glitz and the exclusives and all the craziness and stuff, although that all is there. For me, it's about the business because everyone is there. Todd McFarlane is there. Jim Lee is there. Frank Miller is there. But so is the Pink Power Ranger, Amy Jo Johnson, and the Black Power Ranger, you know, Zach Taylor was his on screen name. Oh my God, why am I forgetting his name? Oh my God. Someone get me in the chat because I'm gonna shame on me. Oh, and I have a gold super chat. I apologize. Mark Morales with the $10 super chat. Thank you. Gold super chat, brother. Hey, Proto Man, the SEC reveals were amazing. But for anyone who brought the Earthrise Seekers and the leader, Age of Extinction Grimlock, uh, we get these molds and a few years later, 86 Grimlock could have been a brand new mold. Well, that was the thing. Walter Jones. Thank you, guys. Walter Jones. How could I forget that? Man, and he was there like 2 years in a row, too. He was a nice guy. Um, the thing with that, I talked about it with the Hasbro guys. I said, man, like you guys put out the leader class Age of Extinction Grimlock. People go crazy for it. It spikes in value, becomes like a $300 figure. You guys do a reissue through Target. It softens the value. People buy the crap out of that one. That one sells out. People go crazy again, start buying it that one in the secondary market. And then you just go, oh, here's a Titan. And now that leader one, no one's gonna care. No one's gonna care. You know? Uh and it was funny, like I said this great line, I should have recorded it, but it was after I think I was talking with who was I talking? I think I was talking to Nate. And then I said, yeah, we finally got our masterpiece Stomp and Chomp Grimlock. Because anyone knows Stomp and Chomp Grimlock, he's like Titan class scale. So and he has the Optimus that you could ride on the back. So it's kind of what we got. We got Chomp and Stomp Grimlock, Masterpiece Edition. Tom Laney always like his losing finger story. Well, he always talks about how, hey, look at my hands. Yeah, people don't notice it until he points it out. And he would always put a piece of wood in the glove for the ranger suit so people wouldn't notice. But yeah, just great stuff. I mean, there's so much more stuff upstairs. A lot of it is comic book stuff. A lot of it was like swag. They were handing out like these big He-Man foam swords and everything that were taking tons of space in my suitcase. Certain someone wanted those swords, you know, so that took space in the suitcase. That's why I didn't have any space in my suitcase anymore. It was just ridiculous. We bring two small suitcases for clothing, two big suitcases for stuff, and then Hasbro just showered us with stuff. I ran out of space. I would have taken a Savage Land Rogue. Nate, if you're listening, I would have taken a Savage Land Rogue set, but I just didn't have the space for it. I would have liked to get that, but I just didn't have the space in the suitcase. Or Emily, whoever will be listening, because I know you guys are always in the chat. Uh, it's just that I just didn't have the space for it. Like I was at my limit. Think about it, right? This right here, boom, boom, side by side, two of them. That's the width of your suitcase in some cases. Then you put this thing, then the Void Rivals one, you know, and I'm not blaming anybody, but this thing was the entire like, obviously it's thin, but that's the entire suitcase right there. Yeah. So needless to say, I'm not blaming nobody. I'm just saying I was at my limit. There was only so much I could do. Uh, I'll answer this one, even though it's not a super chat because it's Big Bot and I like him. Favorite thing that I ate at San Diego. We went to a lot of fancy restaurants on a professional level. Um, but it's funny. So I'll say everything I ate, and then I'll say the thing that was the best, and it wasn't. It's not what you'll think. So we went to a fancy steak place. I don't even want to talk about what the bill was. I didn't pay it, but shout out to I don't even know if he wants to be named who paid it, but we went to a fancy steak place. I got like what was called a bacon chop, which was like some fancy like pork chop steak that has like bacon on it. It was delicious, absolutely amazing. Then we went to an Indian restaurant that had really good food too. That was amazing. Naan bread and curry chicken and everything. That was incredible. Uh, then we went to like a yogurt place, and I got like a cookies and cream triple scoop with brownie pieces and nuts and everything, and that was great. Actually, where's my phone? I can even show photos. Maybe. Hold on. Do I have photos of that stuff? Maybe. I know she does because you know how Asian women are. They like to take photos of their food before they eat it. And that's not even a hot take. That is just legit. Um, See, I didn't take photos of the food. I just took photos of the table and stuff. But way to go, Daniel. Way to go, Proto. Um, but one of the best things that I had that weekend was, just having pizza in the lobby. Pizza, wings, you know, Matt Moylan talking the industry, having pizza and wings. My wife got Tonkinese soup, and I was just kind of eating that off of her because she couldn't finish it, and that was fantastic. It tasted amazing, you know. So sometimes it's not, you could go to a $500 dinner, and that's not as good as like, pizza in the lobby from like some local pizza joint, But that was some of the things. We had breakfast, at Starbucks every morning because you don't have a choice really. You know, the convention center only gives you so much. Uh, the paydays, T-Formers 2002. So that big payday box that I got. So that big payday box, we're down to 3. There's only 3 left. I'm trying to pace them. I'm trying to pace. I have one a week, but the problem is, I also can't control myself. Sometimes I'll have 2 or 3, but I like to have only one a week if possible. But yeah, we tried. The problem is that with San Diego when it comes to food, is that the further you get away from the convention, the more sketchy San Diego gets, and I mean really sketchy. Let's put it this way: San Diego Comic Con has in the convention center and in the convention hotel has a homeless problem. So you will be in the convention center or in the hotel, and there's homeless people in the lobby. They get in, they bug people for money. It is sketchy as hell. Sketchy as hell. So the further you get away from the convention center, it just gets worse and worse. It's like you cross the train track at some point, and then you're in Skid Row. So you don't want to go too far out to get food. Let's put it this way, because it starts to get sketchy as you get further out. They really need to clean that up. There is human fecal matter everywhere. And as someone who wears nice kicks and you have to watch where you're stepping, that is not fun. You know? You know. Uh where are we at here? Mike Prime, my wallet is gonna be crying this week. My wallet, my Walmart's got 3 classes of Studio Series Voyagers. Oh my goodness. Well, take it easy on that. El Kevo, what are you talking about? Downtown US sketchy as F. Well, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about specifically San Diego, the further you get away from the convention center. But man, like, and I told this story last year when I went, every time waking up in the morning and going like, why are they always like washing the streets in the morning? Like all the streets were like the sidewalks were wet in the morning. You'd wake up at like 6 a.m. to walk down to the convention center and you're like, why are they like hosing down all the streets? And then you realize it's because when they wake up in the morning, the amount of human feces that's just everywhere. That's just everywhere. Ugh. Anyways. Where are we at here? Uh, uh, Princeton Phalanx 59. Unfortunately, California has a bad problem with homelessness. Yeah, it was crazy, pretty crazy. Kabuto 79. Is it Kamen Rider Kabuto? Is that where you're going with the Kabuto, or going with some Metabots lore? So was there anything non-Transformers SEC that surprised you, like something that wasn't on your radar? Oh yeah, oh yeah. The Mega Man stuff. I bought. How did I not even show the Mega Man thing I got from Jada? You probably saw it on my Instagram. The Met 6-pack. Got that. They had a whole bunch of new stuff on the display. So they showed Gutsman, Bomb Man, and Proto Man were on the display. Non Mega Man related stuff. They showed the brand new Tick action figures from, I believe it's called Longbox Figures, Longbox Toys. So they had Vacation Tick and Chairface Chippendale. Super excited about that. That's really cool. What else did I see that was really awesome? Overpower, the TCG that was in the 90s, is making a comeback. So Overpower had a booth. So I got a sticker from them. I missed out on the promo cards. Damn it. But I'm excited about that. I loved Overpower back in the day when they used to have a TCG. So they're coming back. So I'm going to support that. I think that's cool. So I was excited about that. They had all kinds of cool stuff at the Loyal Subjects booth. They had the new mask stuff that was on display. The new gem stuff was there. My only complaint was that gem exclusive. Yeah, overpriced. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. $30 for just gem, but if you include gem as Jerica and Synergy, it's 120. The math doesn't add up. $1 is 30 with a whole bunch of stuff. $2 with a box and less stuff is 120. Anyways, but still cool stuff at Loyal Subject either way. What else did I see? The Rocketeer figures were cool that they had there at Longbox. That cool display that they had for the LJN wrestling figures. They're bringing back LJN wrestling figures, so that's pretty cool. I actually have a. Do I have a photo in the LJN blister? Hold on, let me check if that I have. Let me see if I have that one, guys. I'm gonna waste your time now with me scrolling, but yeah, do I have the LJN blister photo? Probably not. I wouldn't surprise. Oh, here's a picture of me with Mega Man. Mega Man guy came by the booth. There's my big red boots. My big red. Uh, gosh, see there. There's the Guts Man, Proto Man, Snake Man, Helmetless Mega Man. Took photos of that. Labubu. Oh my goodness, Labubu this weekend was crazy. Oh, here's a good photo. There's me doing the Action Comics #1. Kind of blurry there. That was all when the deal room was closed, so you could actually move around and get stuff done. Because the moment the deal room opens up to the public, oh my God, you just stay at your booth the whole weekend. You can't move around. It gets a little crazy. Oh, I met Rob Paulson, who was the voice of Mighty Max, Throttle, Raphael from the original Ninja Turtles. I got him to sign a print that had Mighty Max, Raphael, and Throttle. And then I got him to sign another print because I'm doing this master print I'm trying to get all the voice actors from Clay Fighters. So I have Frank Welker for the Blob and a few other characters, Ichabod Clay. And so Rob Paulson did Bonkers, who was the clown. So I got him to sign that. Oh, there it is. There's a picture of it. There's the little little ones that I got signed. What else? What else? A lot of cool stuff. More photos with Shelton. Transformer stuff. Transformer stuff. Yeah, and he was Donatello from the 2012 series. You're right, the Nickelodeon series. Which that was confusing to have that voice on that character, but I guess a different take. You know, they wanted something that was different. Where are we at? Just trying to go through all the photos here. Thousands of photos. Here's a good one. I didn't plan on taking. My phone went off when it was aimed at the floor. Setting up the Hasbro booth and everything on the floor. That's a good one. All the prototypes on the floor. Don't step on the prototypes. Takara will kill you. Takara will kill you. Me and Throttle. That was really cool from Biker Mice. He had a hot dog. He was like holding a hot dog the whole time. It was very, very well done. And then Tenjin-san, Gundam designer extraordinaire from Bandai. He did a panel with me. So it was all the Udon guys. So he was on a panel with me. So that was really cool to do a panel with him. And then I got him to sign an autograph for me. We took a photo. He's a really cool dude. Really cool dude. I hope to do more cons with him in the future. There's my ice cream. There's my yummy ice cream chocolate fudge. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. Oh, there's the tick stuff. See? There's some of the stuff that I was excited about. Sorry if I'm showing you on my phone. It's the best I could do, unfortunately, guys. Best I could do for you. Oh, there's the other one that I was excited about. Bulletproof from Cops. Look at that. That is so cool. Bulletproof is getting a brand new hyper articulated figure. That's awesome. That's going to be a day one purchase for sure. For sure. Yeah, I think all the other phones are on the wife's phone. She probably took way more photos than I did. But very exciting weekend. Very fun. You know, very fun. I mean, I can't stress enough that it's a very tiring weekend. It is like if I did it like 2 years in a like twice a year, I'd be dead. Like it's insane how tiring it is. But it is a very fun con just because every face imaginable is there. Like every human being in our pop culture world is on that floor in some shape or form. And because of how big the dealer room is, how huge it is, it could encompass all of us. And then you have Hall H above it, and then you have that other pavilion, and then you have the pinball room, and then you have the courtesy rooms and all the craziness. It's just this giant entity, this giant organism that exists. It's like, oh, I'm going to go back to my room to get something. 2 hours later, it's like that's how crazy it is there. Uh, Patrick Brown, I'll try one last time. Proto, the leaked listings for Armada Jetfire. What's your thoughts on the Commander price versus Leader? Either way, totally excited to get him again. Well, I mean, here's the problem: is that everything is shrinking. It's very clear that Titans aren't going to be the big city formers that they used to be. Clearly, they had their muscle memory of money of what happened with the low sales of stuff like the Ark, and then of course throttling it back on the distribution of stuff like the Nemesis and Tidal Wave. And they obviously saw, look, we're not privy to those numbers because those were throttled back. They didn't see retail, so we didn't get to see them on crazy clearance as a result, and then not knowing how good or bad they sold. So it's something where, you know, everything has been shrinking. Our Titan class Grimlock is more in line with what our Star Convoy Optimus Prime is, and whatever a commander will be of that. So, you look at your original Jetfire, you know, and think about that. Think about how much smaller the Armada Optimus is, right? From the original Optimus. And then think about Armada Jetfire and how he would scale. So even the Commander class Jetfire is going to be significantly smaller than even the original Armada one that had an MSRP of $39.99 back in 2003. Actually, 2004 probably. Probably more 2004 than 2003. But so it is what it is. The industry is changing. The prices are going up. Hasbro has to increase those prices for a multitude of reasons, be them legitimate or illegitimate. That's a whole other discussion. Uh, you know, CEO got a CEO. Let's put it that way. So it's a different era, unfortunately. And I mean, I don't want to get into the nuts and bolts of that deeply, but you know what I mean. But it's something where we'll see. I'm not going to judge a figure based on a listing until I see it. They might surprise me and it'll be big and beautiful like Arachnid, the deluxe class. But we'll see. T-Formers 2002, at least next week, after next week, Chicago until October, you get a little break. Yeah, totally. 100% T-Formers. That's why, like my next couple, like this is what it's going to be. It's going to be Otakuthon next week. And then I have a tour for the comic locally here. I have to do a few stores. So those are going to be like weekends that I'm like just sitting and locked in on stuff. Then we have Chicago that's coming up. And then dare I say in between that too, there might be a trip to Japan. So that there's going there and doing that also. So there's a whole bunch of, you know, craziness going on. So it's like just all of that. But then you're right. After TFCon Chicago, we'll be able to breathe at least. I hope so. I hope so, brother. I hope so. By the way, guys, if I'm missing any YouTube member questions, just keep repeating yourselves. I apologize if I missed them. Like the super chats, they pop up on the screen here. They're in color and they go, hey, look at that. But the YouTube member ones are harder to catch sometimes. Why lag why? Hey Proto, thoughts on the Walmart sideways at the moment? Keeps selling out, but seems to be suffered from distribution issue with Walmart. Had all my orders canceled on me so far. Well, I mean, here's the thing. The one good thing about it is it's not a exclusive. And historically, Hasbro has been reissuing stuff from Studio Series when it does have a difficult distribution. So if you are having problems with him, let your feelings be known. They're listening. That's what's great about Mark, Evan, and Nate, and even BMAC. BMAC was there that weekend. He was on vacation. He wasn't officially wearing a Hasbro shirt, but let them know, specifically Nate, because he's part of marketing and stuff. But if you can't contact Nate, let some of the others know and just let them, hey, like, we're having distribution problems with this, and then they make a note. Oh, well, then if we could fill a wave with a deluxe, blah blah blah, and then we could, or make that an exclusive as a, an item, it puts it out there again. So that's one way to look at it. You know, that's one way to look at it. Where are we at here? Sarah, can we talk about why Hasbro is making Voyagers a leader price in the for the Bayverse and the G1ers? Still, the B Skies have bigger than leader. Well, again, that has to do more probably with engineering and assembly. I haven't handled those figures, so I can't speak of it. Like, I handled this. This is pretty cool. Has great pieces and parts and folds and everything like that and everything. Like, I'm not going to judge something until I mess with it. And I don't like looking at YouTube reviewers of stuff because you don't feel the plastic quality. Like, I will stand by it. The plastic quality of this is way stronger than the plastic quality of this. This is more of an MABS. This is more of a strong ABS from like the early 2000s. Now, it has probably to do with that this is made only for the Japanese market and it's a lot stronger. It just took a while just to get to do that. Like, it holds. It's like it is stiff, giggity. It is stiff, giggity. These guys, and these ones are a little more, a little more floppy. But I mean, I still think they're great. I think the engineering is still awesome, and whoever was behind this one, that feet design is fantastic. But very cool. And I love this too. Like, look, oh, it's a cockpit. He's a Gundam. But very cool. Thank you again, Nate. Very cool. But uh where are we at? But I mean, you'll get another opportunity. I'll get another opportunity or at some point. I think that any of those studio series, especially like the Dinobots, like they kept finding opportunities for the Dinobots. They recognized that there was a value there. Like, I don't think many people are going to be like, oh, we need, the Widowmaker. Like, oh my God, can't find Widowmaker. There's certain ones that I guarantee are going to be plentiful. In my case, I just keep seeing Red Alert. I just keep seeing Age of the Primes Red Alert. So many. And I'm not saying it's a bad toy. I'm just saying, like, man, he's going to go on sale at some point. I'm just call it a vibe. Does Sea Spray have any Easter eggs? Unfortunately not. No Alana written on his wrist. Um, he's quite, and even his transformation, like, I'll just show you. I don't want to like spoil it for you, but like, this doesn't tuck in. You kind of just, I see, I don't want to spoil it, but this goes like this, tucks into that. This goes up like this. There's no big secrets with his transformation. The arms just kind of come down like this on a butterfly joint a little bit. Like, it's a very good figure. It's a very well designed figure. I'm kind of just looking forward a little bit to what they do with the anime inspired one, because they'll probably put pupils in the eyes a little bit, like give him a much more anime inspired face. They'll give him the weapon that's in the proper color. They'll probably give it a different shade of blue, and then like I said, you'll display this one if you get this one first. You'll display this one. Eh, let's warm it with the feet like this. So you have the full boat feet, like the original toy, how it was just the full boat feet. And then you could have the flat-footed, more fluoro deary, screen accurate one like that. And you'll have two different versions, just like again with the Braun, like I mentioned before. So it'll be cool. So very awesome. You do a great sea spray impression. Well, all you have to do is have someone drown you, I guess. Yeah. Who was sea spray? Was that the voice of Skeletor? I have to look at my wall. One moment. Look at my wall. Uh, sea spray, sea spray. Yeah, it is Alan Oppenheimer. Alan Oppenheimer was sea spray. How original, Alan. No, no shade. I love you, Alan, but dude underwater. That's how I look at my wall of autographs. Uh, was he just doing Merman? I'm not a big He-Man guy, so I don't really know that. But yeah, great weekend otherwise. Fantastic stuff. I recommend it to anyone who could go. The only thing I don't recommend is how insane it is. Standing in lines, I can't imagine that. But if you're somehow able to get in there, there's a lot of fun to be had. There's a lot of networking to be had. The business side of it is very important, but at the same time, it is an expensive weekend, and that's a big thing. Where, in my opinion, if you could do just one convention a year as a Transformer fan, I would suggest TFCon LA. That would be always mine. I would not suggest San Diego. San Diego is if you have supplemental income, you have money to burn, you know? If you're able to go and you got the money, then sure, go for it. But otherwise, I would save up and do a TFCon LA as your annual loop, if you will, because there's way more voice actors, there's way more just Transformer product, there's way more like just cool people in terms of like people within the community. We tend to like go to that one more than the other ones. So that's kind of the angle I would lean on more. I would go to TFCon LA over San Diego. San Diego is, I mean, you're just spending hundreds of dollars just on the hotel. And then the weekend pass, and then the flight, and then the food, and then the insanity, and the standing in line in the heat. I wouldn't recommend it. It's fun. It's great. If you could do it, do it. But otherwise, I think there's better angles you could go about it. T-Formers 2002 with the $5 super chat talking about size. An issue is the boxes being the same size regardless of toy size, so the smaller leaders feel a lot emptier space. Well, that gets into, and we've always had this discussion, but for people who are new to the podcast, people have to understand another thing too. Walmart dictates shelving space. And if Walmart dictates shelving space, that means Walmart also dictates how tall your boxes are going to be. And if Walmart dictates how tall your boxes are going to be, it's also going to dictate how big your product is. So there's a domino effect of that, where it's like if you're, gosh, I don't have anything here, but I wish I had like a big price point item. I only have like the small price point stuff nearby. But if you have like a leader box, it's something where we're not seeing that as much anymore. Like, how often do you see like a big leader box item in a Walmart anymore? Like, if they allocate a little space on the bottom shelving, not the hanger pegs, not the flat bottom of the hanger peg, but the bottom second tier, that's probably the only time you'll see your big price points and leaders and stuff. But there's only so much space; it's finite. Where a hanger peg, you could put 4 or 5 or 6 guys, and then you have that bottom piece that you could even put more. So it gets tough with that. Good night, cringe. No, we're gonna be done too. We're done in like 1 minute, anyways. Also, we're also done. But yeah, we get to a point where it's like we're dictated by Walmart. We don't live in a world of KB Toys and, more importantly, Toys R Us, where it's a big box retail, tons of infinite space, whole Transformer sections. that could just be entire aisles if need be. Now it's Walmart, 4 pegs of each different category of segmentation, one whole peg of Deluxe Age of the Primes, one whole peg of like mainline Transformers 1, one whole peg of Swapticons, one whole peg of Cyber World, you know? And then same thing, that bottom shelving, all the Voyagers are all kind of strewn about there across those different segmentations, maybe some role play items. And then that bottom shelf, what do you got there? That's where your big price point items are. That's where your large role play items are, your large gimmick items, your leader classes, if they even buy them, and that's it. Anyone could show me a picture of their Walmart display. I kind of just described it right now, if not less stuff. You're not going to see Titans. They're not going to be there. They don't allocate the space for that. Unless you're one of the lucky few that has a Walmart that does do that, but 99% of them don't, you know? Now that's where you go to a GameStop. They seem to get more of the higher end price point items, the Hasbro Pulse items, some of those kind of things. Once in a while an SDCC exclusive will pop up there, but that's where you're more likely to kind of see that. So I hope that kind of answers that a little bit. We've talked about it in the past before, but it is what it is. It is what it is. So once again, just want to thank everybody who came to San Diego, the fans who came by. Star Warrior, I think his name was, one of the fans that came by, pick up some of the exclusives in person. I did bring a few of the TFCon exclusives in person, so people pick those up. So I want to thank the fans who came by and helped support the podcast and everything. I want to thank the Hasbro crew for being a whole bunch of awesome dudes and hanging out that weekend and just chilling and just doing what we always do best, and that's talk toys and talk the business. I want to thank the Udon Capcom crew and them being awesome and just forging the future of what we're going to be doing creatively in the world. I want to thank Pat the NES Punk and this phone book that he gave me. Pat, we're going to talk more in the future, business wise and stuff, and do some fun stuff together. I want to thank, God, who am I forgetting before I forget? Emily, Mark, Evan, Nate, Brian for the biker mice stuff and the motorcycles and everything and all the other cool stuff. Oh, I want to thank, I wish I got their names, man. I think I have their business card upstairs. Really cool comic book store that hooked me up with some Spider-Man issues because I was looking for some cool stuff to get Todd to sign. So I got some good Spider-Man books from Todd's run. Man, just a lot of cool people that weekend. I'm forgetting more than I'm remembering. Edwin Huang, my brother in arms with the comic. What is for dinner? We are having for dinner steak. We bought 2 steaks that were going to expire soon from the supermarket. Buy them on 30% off and then have them that same day. We bought steaks, and then I had it with broccoli, and I had it with potatoes, and probably for snacking tonight, we bought habanero pepper cheese. Amazing. We bought a brick of it. So I'm going to have that with Melba toast for a little snack tonight, and that'll be Proto Man for the evening. I haven't been on my Nintendo Switch for like a week and a half, so probably people are like, shit, did he give up on Nintendo? So I have to get back to my Nintendo Switch and play some F-Zero and everything. So yeah, cheap meat is where it's at, man. But at least it's clean protein. That's what I say. With extra virgin olive oil to cook it and some crushed garlic in there. Absolutely delicious, delicious. But great stuff. Again, thank you all for the love and support. Thank you for everyone who tuned in. Again, next Saturday, I will not be doing a live stream because I will be at Otakuthon. So the next stream will be Thursday night, probably 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll keep you posted on that when I know 100%. But Thursday is when the live stream will be. Yeah, that's it more or less. I'll have an update on what's happening with Otakuthon on Thursday when I do the live stream. If you are going to be in the Montreal area, and want to pick up some comic books and stuff like that, or some Transformer toys. But aside from that, thank you for the love and support. If you want to continue supporting the podcast, that's what the Patreon link is down there below. Come join the Patreon. Come join us on Discord. Come check us out. Hang out on the Discord. We share sales and news and everything. And if you're part of the Discord, if we ever do exclusives like this and you're not able to attend a convention, we make sure that you're able to get one. People love them for some weird reason. We do them every year and people love them. Next year's is going to be amazing. Amazing. Can't wait to show next year's. Extra twists and turns and very cool stuff. But yeah, so thank you all for the love and support. Thanks again for listening like we always do. And our craziness. Now I got to collect all this stuff together and open up some of these. I never messed with the Gears mold yet, so that'll be fun. But yeah, take care of yourselves. Take care of your loved ones. You don't know how long life is. Look, I'm in my 40s. If I'm lucky, I'll make it to 70. So I'm way already past middle-aged. Take care of yourselves. Do stuff creative. Try to get out there. Don't hold grudges. Don't let politics eat up your life. Don't let your neighbors' beliefs make enemies of each other. Just relax, man. Just relax. Enjoy your life. Enjoy the people around you. Have a good meal. Enjoy a good hobby. Play a good video game. Read a good comic book. And don't worry about everything else. Staring at your phone and getting angry at the next thing that they're trying to make you angry about because it's monetizable. Take care of yourselves. I'm out of here. Love you all. Peace. And I'll see you Thursday.